Welcome everyone, my name is Autumn, and if you've watched the introduction of my deck combining series, you know this first category is aesthetics. So this is the really nice and easy one, but deceptively simple sometimes, as many things are that are simple. This is using decks together that go very easily by how they look. So it's their color palette, it's the artwork style, it can be the composition and type of layout of the card. It can also include how the cards feel and the size of the cards, that sort of thing. Okay, but it's keeping it very simple. It's how it looks to you. And I'm using, or as you can see, I'm using the White Sage Tarot. So this is a nice and easy category that a lot of us probably just do intuitively when we're in a rush perhaps, or you know, mentally we're just not in that space or don't have that space. You know, you've had a bad night and you're just too tired to think, and it's first thing in the morning, you want to get your dailies done, for example, and it's just nice and easy. And we probably do it, like I said, intuitively, where we choose decks that just work well together. But you can also see that by doing it intuitively on those times that we are a bit pushed for time, or how we're feeling inside or mentally as well, is that we tend to choose, preferably we will choose something that is soothing to us, which takes us to that level of that deeper level of simplicity, where yes, they are beautiful cards to look at, but they're also hopefully soothing because of how they go together. So let's just choose a couple of cards. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to choose a different one because just to give a bit of variety of the deck. Okay. So now when I say soothing, I'm not, that can be the deck itself. White Sage Tarot is very much a soothing deck to me. But what I mean by soothing, as in working together smoothly, so with the other deck. So I'm pairing with this one, Spirit Animal Wisdom. They're both very soothing, and the colours are muted. They're nothing, even the bright ones are still quite gentle in some way. There's a certain shared fragility I feel with these two decks, and it wasn't until I actually read with them, because in my mind I felt they would go together, and it wasn't until I laid them out did I realise they also had the similar design. So that works really nicely. So as I said, you're in a rush, first thing in the morning, you want your dailies, and you just want to choose something that just works well together, because you don't want anything complicated, you don't want anything to be clashing, you don't want the cards to be challenging each other. You know, this is all stuff in the other categories, you just want them to work. And this is also, so that's great for your mind, state of mind. Okay, it's also great for when you're beginning to combine decks, that you don't want to get too many challenges too quickly. So often, you know, combining minors with a major in the tarot is easier than if you're just combining hard majors together, or very difficult cards together. I hope I'm making sense there. Okay, so generally, you know, they just work lovely, they look lovely, and I think, you know, I think a lot of us, or some people at least, you know, we discount the value of beauty, and we talk a lot about aesthetics in the tarot community of a card. You know, how a card looks, and also how it feels is important to a lot of us. And some people can discount it, says, well, what's the difference, you know? But the thing is, beauty is, for me, I think it's something that is integral to how we are built as human beings. There's a reason why we have artists, architects, web designers in the world is because we do have the sense that we strive towards beauty. And yes, we say beauty is subjective, but we also know there's an objectivity of beauty within art, within mathematics. We look at the mathematical world around us, nature, and the elegance there, sacred geometry, anything like that. You look at it and you find that there is rhyme and reason amongst the chaos. And so we are predisposed towards beauty, even when we don't necessarily seek it in our lives or look for it or ask for it. It does have an effect on us. So if we are in turmoil, if we are in an anxious state of mind, if we're stressed, if we're feeling anything in our lives is ugly at the moment for whatever reason, it's just burdening us, or it's unpleasant or conflict, then rebalancing that with something that is soothing, something that is beautiful, whatever that is to you, has an effect on your mental state. We have a tendency that when we are anxious or when we are feeling low, that we, like attracts like, and we tend to go towards the dark. And that's fine too, because we may need to go there, we may need to explore, we may need to do the shadow work, all of that. But sometimes we get too pulled into that, like magnets, and sometimes you need to rebalance, and you just need to give sometimes your mind a break. And I think, something as simple as bringing some beauty in your life, whether you go and pick some flowers, or you go out in nature and appreciate it, or you sit down with a deck that just makes you sigh because it just looks lovely, and also preferably one that is soothing to the mind as well. However, of course, aesthetics means they go together. It doesn't mean it's necessarily soothing, to look at. But in general, I feel when we're going towards deck combining for aesthetics, is that it's where otherwise it goes to the other categories. For me, it's about they look beautiful together because they work beautifully together in their smoothness and flow, and that brings that flow into our mental state as well. So here I'm choosing another deck. This is the other king. Make sure that's in shot. And I'm pairing that with the Hedgeridge Botanical. Now, this makes it super easy when you have the same deck creator who's done two very different decks, and yet same style. Same artistic style, very easy to combine and work together smoothly. As you can see, it almost, if you didn't know these decks, you might think it's the same deck. Obviously same artist, same line work, but sometimes same deck creators create something very different. But here we have a beautiful flow of color, line, soft muted palette, again very soothing. This is one of those ones that I really enjoy reading when I'm wanting a little bit more, because Otherkin is not as soothing as White Sage. There's a little bit more to it, there's a little bit more depth to it. I don't mean White Sage hasn't got depth, but it's not quite challenging, but there can be moments of that in it. But I'm wanting to keep it simple. I want to keep it clear, and that's the other thing that you can find with combining decks by aesthetics, is that it's flowing, it's smooth, but you also get a lot of clarity in the readings. And the third card, it's saying this sort of instance, it's very supportive to what's going on. It normally just adds further clarity, or adds further to the insight and the story that's going on. Okay, so this is the Wildwood, and it is heavily modified. Borders are gone and I have edged it. And this is coming out of that super soothing White Sage and Other King. It's beautiful, isn't it? Sort of type of decks. but you have this beautiful nature element, lots of greens and greys and muted blues. And I'm going to pair this one with the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. So you can see here with the animal theme, that helps quite a bit. But even if I add the people back in, there's just a wonderful coexistence here of the color palettes that are used. Even though the style is quite different, it's not too different, it's not completely something else. They just work really nicely together. They're smooth, they're just again pleasing to the eye. There's nothing that really clashes and doesn't work. So this is a gorgeous deck as well. I love this one so much. Wow, look at that. So as you can see, this is a super easy way to begin the combining decks. I mean, I'm picking and choosing, but obviously they all go. I just want to pick some nice cards. So yeah, super easy way to begin aesthetically, but like I said, it's deceptively simple. Choosing something, even sometimes you may want to choose something else, but if you're feeling that anxious state of mind, I personally do find that it's a nice thing to welcome in, because we're not always the best at self-care, and we have a tendency, like I said, to be in a stressful state of mind or stressful situation and actually just move further into stress rather than away from it. So if I catch myself being drawn to a particularly challenging deck or combination, and I wonder why, and I check in with myself and I am feeling quite stressed or anxious, then I think, okay, well, maybe I need to do that. I might just go ahead and do it, but I might end with something that is more soothing and more flowing. Because also when you're in an anxious state of mind or stressed state of mind, I find I still get fantastic accurate readings, but sometimes you can also, it's a higher chance that you're going to miss something or not see the self-care, the self-love message. You might get some insights into what's going on and how to deal with the stress, or how to deal with a stressful situation or the person or what have you. But the self-care aspect is going to come from decks that are, either the decks themselves and your nurturing decks, your hug decks, but this is also another aspect to consider along with those great decks, is also decks that work together aesthetically. Thank you. Look forward to getting into the other categories, which get more complex, but also fun. Thanks. Bye.